Hello, everyone. Welcome to Semiconductor Expert in 3 minutes. Today's story, circuits born to be destroyed. Chips are cut out as squares from a round wafer, and hidden in the cutting margins are real working circuits. The moment the blade comes down, they shatter to pieces. Why on earth? Semiconductors are built on a round silicon disk called a wafer. A single wafer holds identical chips packed in a neat grid, like a checkerboard. At the very end, they are cut apart one by one to become finished chips. Between the chips, narrow streets are reserved for cutting. These are called scribe lines, gaps about as wide as a single human hair. A blade or a laser runs along them to separate the chips. You would think a place destined to be cut would be just empty space. Yet chipmakers deliberately build tiny test circuits right on these streets. They are made in the same process, at the same time as the real chips, small structures the industry calls TEGs. Think of it as a tasting spoon from the same pot as the main dish. You don't need to eat the whole pot. One spoonful tells you the flavor. In the same way, probing these tiny circuits reveals how well the entire wafer turned out. This inspection is called WAT. Not the watt of electric power, WAT. It stands for Wafer Acceptance Test. Fine needles touch the circuits in the gaps of the finished wafer, send current through them, and measure their electrical characteristics. What gets checked? Whether the transistors turned out exactly as designed, how easily current flows, how sharply the switches turn on and off. It is essentially a health checkup for the wafer, expressed in hard numbers. Once the checkup is done, these circuits have served their purpose. In the cutting step, called dicing, they are shredded together with the streets. Gone. Not a single trace remains in the product. They are circuits born purely for inspection. Now, today's expert point. These doomed TEG circuits decide which wafers get disqualified. WAT numbers come with strict shipping criteria, and if a wafer fails here, its main circuits are never even examined. The wafer's fate rests in the throwaway circuits in the gaps. By the way, there is an ongoing race to make these gaps even narrower. Shave a few dozen microns off the streets, thinner than a hair, and you harvest more chips from every single wafer. Fighting over the land that gets thrown away anyway? That is how relentless the semiconductor world is. That wraps up Semiconductor Expert in 3 minutes. Before the chip in your smartphone went out into the world, a tiny circuit born right next to it was tested and disappeared, an unsung hero that vanished, leaving behind a certificate of passing. Please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. See you next time.